Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Bit different this week. I know, instead of being outside a bike shop, I am sat in my living room, but it's because this bike is at my house. This is my long-term loan that I've been given by MotoGB and Into Moto, and I just wanted to share the first week with you. So I showed you the walk round and give all the specs and the prices and everything else on the original video. So if you've not seen that, just nip back a few videos and you'll see one that's labelled new bike. If you have seen that, then we're going to crack on with this week's test. So unfortunately, I've had to work all week, and worse than that, I've been working nights. So I've spent this week using the bike to commute to and from work, and it has involved a lot of night riding. So it was a perfect test really for the Morbidelli C1002V. Still think that's a bloody mouthful, that name, but it was a good test for it because I have done quite a lot of riding when it's just been total darkness. So I was able to check what the lights are like. So that's the first part of the test. So bit of a ride, join me. It's only a couple of minutes, but it's a bit of estate and like dark road riding, just to show you what the lights are like on the bike. We'll do that first. Different to last time when I went on the bike, where we had the light background because it was daytime, sensors in there telling it it's nighttime, so it's in dark mode. But again, it just looks really nice. The headlight is actually doing really well considering this street. I think there's only one street light on, it's that, but down the road, yeah, it's covering both lanes and a little bit down. So yeah, I mean, for a housing estate, that's doing all right. It's got like it's like a bowl shape. It's quite a strange look actually. Don't know if it comes across on camera, but the way the light is pointed down, it just looks like there's a big bowl in front of you just lit up. But it does have quite a wide field to it, so you've got pretty much the pavement on both sides of the road, and the road is lit up. There, so you can just see the cars in front, the things lighting up. So actually it's got quite a decent range on it as well, which is good because it means that you're going to be nice and visible for those cars coming the opposite direction. I'm still loving it. I genuinely am loving it, how it rides. I'm loving the comfort, I'm loving the forward controls. Into Moto pulled a, I'm sure it's a sales pitch on me, giving me some 125 cruisers to test the other day, and it's just following on from that forward controls, and just, yeah, in my happy place. I'm sure they're trying to get me to buy one of these, you know. Yeah. So, bit weird, I know, excuse the camera footage, because it does genuinely look like the light is like bowl shaped, and you'll see it on the footage. It's bizarre really. The light itself just kind of comes up like a bowl, but it does show all of the road. It shows a fair distance down the road as well, so it means you can see what you need, and other road users can see as well. So yeah, I haven't got a major issue with it. I just think it's weird, the shape of it, the way it comes out, but it works and I can see everything. So yeah, it's just a little point really. Now moving on from that, a large part of my commute is done on the motorway. So yes, it is another night ride, but it's on the motorway. So I got to test what the bike was like at higher speeds. Let's have a look at that. Now this is the next test. Thankfully I've got my microphone inside my helmet, so you probably still will hear a bit of wind. Mainly because my helmet is one of those helmets that the front face lifts up, so because of that they can get a bit windy. Air tends to get inside them, so they're not quite as wind resistant as your normal full face helmets are, this being one of those that lifts up at the front. Yeah, it's got a few gaps. Not a cheap helmet though, I might point out. Simpson, not cheap in the slightest. Yeah, so I'm going to do quite a stint on the motorway today. If you've watched any of my videos before, my trek to work is about 35 miles, I think, there or thereabouts, and probably 25 to, I don't know, just over is motorway. So it's a good little stint to get used to this bike and its characteristics on the motorway, because there's a mixture, like you can see now. It's reduced to 60 mile an hour speed limit because it's fairly busy, and yeah, they always want to catch people speeding, don't they? The cash machines are out, those little yellow cameras trying to get you speeding, so it costs you a fortune. But anyway, I digress. So I've got a bit of a stint to do. I'm doing 60 mile an hour now, and yeah, there's no wind protection on this bike at all, so very similar to a lot of other bikes of this type. You are just a big old windbreak, so I am just getting hit in the face, the the chest, the arms, everything. I'm just a windbreak. So as a bike to do high speeds on the motorway, it's not ideal in its current format. I need to check what it's like at 70 mile an hour. I'm not going to be taking it too far up the rev counter because yeah, it's not running yet. And you know, I want more bikes off into Moto and MotoGP, and I need to basically not be a dick with their bikes, so that's what I'm going to do. And that's something else as well with a big bike. You don't feel intimidated on the motorway like you do when you're on a smaller, slimmer bike. You feel like you are the size of a car when you're on something like this. And I know you're not the size of a car, but you just have this confidence because it is a big bike. You just feel confident on the motorway, or I certainly do. Now there are speed cameras everywhere, so it's a nice legal 70 miles an hour. And yeah, as expected, the wind has picked up somewhat. I don't quite feel like I'm hanging on. The wind isn't trying to blow me off the seat. But to be fair, actually, yeah, I'm noticing something really, really good that I did talk about during the walk round. Actually, when I first went on the bike initially, I talked about that little bucket seat that you sit in, and just noticing now with the wind picking up a lot because I'm going faster, the seat kind of grips you in because it comes up, the back of the seat comes up to like the small of your back, so even when you feel the wind pushing you back just ever so slightly because of the wind, you're not going anywhere because of where you're positioned. And I really like that, because some seats can blow you back a little bit, but not this one. It just feels like you are well and truly wedged into it, and it just makes for a nice place to be because it feels really secure. I now have just got in from work, which explains why my head is yeah, messy head. Apologies. When you're just recording yourself, you just don't get hair and makeup, do you? You just look like a scruff all the time, or I do. Anyway, one other thing that I've done this week, and quite a lot of, to be honest, because I work the other side of Manchester from where I live, so I literally have to ride straight through the city centre, which even at night time, it's still quite busy. So I've done a lot of filtering. So I've just added that just purely because A bit of a mixed review on filtering really, just mainly because the size of it. I was able to do a lot of it, but it's not as easy as a smaller bike, so just a little clip of that. I'm getting this lovely warm breeze coming through, so clearly the air's coming through via the engine, and it's just giving me like a very mild hairdryer effect on my legs, which I actually think is nice. My concern though would be if I was in if it was a hot sunny day. How would I feel in a hot sunny day about having warmer plastered on my legs? That's something that I'd have to hopefully try in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll get a decent day somewhere like the south of France, or you know, just the south of Europe a little bit. You've got quite good temperatures during the summer. You can easily be talking late 30s to 40 degrees, and going on the bike is usually amazing around there because you've got all of the fresh air that you're getting as you're riding. Well, it cools you down on a really warm day, whereas if it's a really warm day and I'm getting a hairdryer effect on my legs, that isn't going to cool me down. That's going to actually warm me up a bit on a warm day. So I'm going to have to monitor that one. I'm actually enjoying that it's warm. I'm just finding it unexpected, and if it is because of, I don't know, just the general engine temperature that's causing my legs to be warm and the seat to be warm, then whilst that is good for England, and it is because we're always cold and the weather's always crap in England, so it's nice to have that warmth. But if I was going somewhere hot, would I feel the same? I don't know. Looking at the temperature on there for the bike, it's not even at halfway. So the bike itself, it's not like it's overheating or anything like that. It's just the warmth of it. That's always depressing as well. Looking into bars and restaurants and seeing people sat down, ready to enjoy a nice evening when you're on the way to work, a pig in night shift. This is something that you get all the time, so we'll just show. So what you've got with the taxis is they purposely, like this one, comes out to the side to block you from getting past when he's got loads of room at the side. You can see the car in front is over, but this one isn't. And again, you know, I know he can see me because I've seen him looking in the mirror, and yet when you look at the room it's got, it's just purposely not wanting to let me get past them. And filtering's legal in the UK. It's one of the bonuses of having a motorcycle. You can actually get past and don't have to be stuck in traffic like this, but you will always get a bell end, and I've got past that bell end now, so I can encounter a couple more, and you can see it's total chaos. Total chaos of Manchester. Oh, it is. It's bedlam. It's the best way to describe Manchester traffic. Total bedlam. Good to see some bikes on today. The bikes are out. They've probably had loads here during the day. Character of the Harley Davidson is better than this bike. It is. The character of it, I can't argue with it. There's just more character about the Harley, and it comes in the form of noise and rumbles and the kind of quirkiness to ride them, because they do have their own kind of unique way of riding. They do. But with my Harley, silly things like parts falling off. Honestly, I was riding my Harley Davidson through Warrington one day, and I changed gear, and the bit there where you put your feet snapped off. So I had to ride home the rest of the way on my Harley, kind of going underneath. And that happens a lot with Harleys. Bits fall off, and you still love it, and you might take it out in the wet, and then it get too wet, and then stop working. But you still love it. Then you come back to it because it got wet once, and you've got rust everywhere. But you still love it because it's a Harley, and you kind of go all in with the whole Harley Davidson theme. You do. You buy into it. You buy the tops, you buy the jackets, you buy the whole shebang, and when you do, you become like part of the brand. They've got you. Whereas with this, it just seems to be made better. And it's bizarre because I know a lot of people are going to say no, because these bikes are made in China. Well, they're made in China like Yamahas and Kawasaki's and all those have bikes made in China. The company is from Italy, designed in Italy. The fact that they make it in China doesn't matter, because that's like saying all 125s from Honda, Yamaha, everything are all poorly made because they're Chinese. So it doesn't quite work saying it's Chinese, because it's an Italian bike. But it just looks and feels better than the new Harleys, and I find that bizarre for a bike of this price point. Anyway, that's my ride to work done. I've got to go and do a night shift now. So I'm joined by my furry friend for the last little bit. Just a summary of the week, really. So completely different to my usual videos, I know that, but the bike's at home and you've already seen the spec sheets. Overall, the bike is performing really well. I mean, the lights are a bit odd, granted. You can see everything you need to, but the shape of it, the way it comes out, it's very, very bright in that bowl shape, but it works. Filtering, it's a big bike, it's a wide bike, it's a long bike, so you can filter, but it's not the perfect city bike, because it's not like a scooter or something that's quite slim. It is a big chunky machine, but I mean, that's part of why I like it. Where it's not as good at filtering, it makes up for it in other aspects, mainly the looks and feel you get when you're riding it, and that's what I like. So motorway riding for me, especially on the commute to work, I can do anything between 20 to 25 miles depending on the route that I take to work. So this route is a good test for the bike, because albeit it's only a little stint of 20 or 25 miles, you can get up to 70 miles an hour, and I did that multiple occasions during the week, and the bike itself performs well. Can't knock the performance. 70 miles an hour, it's barely trying. But at that speed, there is a lot of wind. The lack of wind protection just, yeah, it just tells. And even doing the 20 odd miles, it was nice to actually slow down in either traffic or coming towards the end of the motorway, because you do feel like you get battered with the wind. But that leads me on to my next thing and my final thing, really, and that is when I first considered buying one of these bikes, and I did, when I seen the bike was coming to market, it looked amazing. The price was just within what I could afford, which a lot of cruisers aren't. And the thing that put me off was there was just no accessories, and by that I mean there was no exhaust, there was no wind protection, there was no panniers or pannier rack or anything like that. There was basically nothing. And about 6 months into waiting, I did a Google check, and yeah, there was still nothing. So it seemed just like the accessories were never ever going to come. But I'm pleased to say that now they have. There's still not loads of them. There are still very, very few companies that are actually selling anything in relation to this bike in the UK. But there is companies selling things. So here's just a little look at the things that I've found. First of all, wind protection. That's important to me. These are the things that are currently on offer. So you do have the high or the taller touring screen, and then you've also got the little screen as well. Now, very Sons of Anarchy, if you ask me, the way that screen is. As far as practicality goes, it's going to keep bugger all wind off you. However, it looks pretty cool, so I like it. The big one, and it is quite a big one for me, and it was the reason ultimately I decided not to get one when they first came out, and that is the pannier racks. There was nothing to speak of. You would have had to have gone with some universal kit, or I mean, they can be funny themselves, or you can make something yourself. Well, that wasn't an option for me, so yeah, I was disappointed. But again, positives, they now have them. So this is what I found online, and yes, you've got the pannier racks, but it also has a sissy bar as well. I know that's not for everyone. I do feel better knowing that they've got that little bit of a backrest, and I know people that I've taken on the back before, they've all appreciated a backrest as well with the bikes that I've had that's had them. Not just that, what I find as well is, albeit the racks are brilliant, especially the side ones, they're good for your pannier bags. However, if you just wanted a roll bag, something like that, the sissy bar, again, it just helps secure that on your back seat. So I really like the idea of it for that, because to be honest, I don't take many people on the back of my bikes anyway. No matter how much I try, nobody wants to ride with me. However, what I do always do is have a roll bag on the back if I go out touring or I go on any long journeys, and the sissy bar really helps for that. It just makes it a little bit more secure. So for me, the accessories now are catching up, and that makes this bike a much better option than what it was, because I always loved the look of the bike, but it was just missing things, and those things are now available. So that for me just takes this bike up a level, because without the things that I'm talking about, it just becomes a bike to play on for the day. And yeah, that's fine for a lot of people, but it doesn't suit what I want a bike for. It doesn't suit what I have my big bikes for, and that is long tours, weekends away, that kind of stuff. But now it's got potential. Now, next week, I'm planning to do some more things. One of the things is a long journey. Now, my commute to work isn't particularly long. Even if I go the furthest way, it's about 35 miles one way. It's not a long journey. I want to see what it's like if I'm sat in the seat for a couple of hours. So I'm either going to head north to Scotland or south to Wales. I'm going to do one or the other this week because I've got a couple of days off, and yeah, I want to see what it's like for a lot of time in the seat. Am I going to be in pain? Am I not? How does it fare on a long ride? Because when I go out for the day with my friends, that's the kind of ride that we would do. We'd go to somewhere that looks stunning, that's got some lovely bike roads, and that's what I want to do with this. If you're considering buying one of these bikes, or you just want to know something specifically about the bike, let me know in the comments, because if I can't answer it, I'll find it out for you. But for now, that's going to do me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters. I don't know what, that was like the worst thing I've ever done. Worst wave ever. Catch you on the next one. See you later, guys.